to everyone bearing the weight of life. Do you ever feel that life is painfully overwhelming? Amid the daily struggles, the anxieties about the future, and the conflicts in relationships, you may sometimes feel crushed by the weight of it all. Perhaps there are nights when you can't even sleep, wrestling with these worries alone. Why is it that life often comes with so much suffering? And is there a way to free ourselves from this suffering? The answers lie in the teachings of Buddha, who, over 2,600 years ago, offered profound wisdom on freeing oneself from the burdens of life. Buddha once said, "Suffering is inevitable, but by facing it, understanding it, and learning to let go, we can find freedom." His words reveal a path to liberation from suffering. So take a deep breath, calm your mind, and let us begin a journey through the wisdom Buddha has to offer. Understanding the source of suffering. In ancient India, there was a young man named Karna, who lived near the banks of the Ganges. He was only 25 but had already tasted many of life's hardships. Every day, he worked to support his family's business, while also caring for his ailing mother. Yet, Karna carried a heavy burden of loneliness and anxiety within his heart. One evening, exhausted, he sat down under a large tree at the edge of his village and thought quietly to himself under the setting sun. Why must I be the one to suffer this much, he wondered. Just then, a monk approached him, exuding a gentle smile and a noble presence that suggested wisdom. The monk calmly spoke to Karna. "Young man, what troubles you?" Initially hesitant, Karna soon found himself sharing all his worries with the monk. The monk listened attentively and then spoke. "You are not alone in your suffering. Many others carry similar burdens in their lives." A journey to let go of suffering. Encouraged by the monk, Karna decided to visit a wise man who lived on a mountainside. That night, he bid farewell to his mother, and with the warm support of the villagers, he set off on his journey. Along the way, Karna realized that to free himself from the weight he bore, he needed to face and accept it fully. After 3 days, Karna finally arrived at the wise man's home. This wise man was none other than Buddha himself. Listening quietly to Karna's story, Buddha led him to a large rock and said, "Try lifting this rock." Karna, using all his strength, managed to lift the rock, but after an hour, his arms trembled, sweat poured from him, and the weight felt unbearable. Life suffering is like this rock. The longer you hold on to it, the heavier it feels. But remember, you can set it down anytime. As Karna lowered the rock, he reflected on the deep meaning of Buddha's words. The importance of letting go of attachments. Buddha went on to explain that one of the primary sources of suffering is attachment. When we cling to the past or become overly anxious about the future, we lose the ability to live fully in the present. Karna, too, was bound by his fears of the future and his despair over his own perceived powerlessness. Buddha taught him the importance of letting go. Much of our suffering, Buddha said, is the result of illusions created by our own minds. Karna began to understand that the suffering he experienced was not just from his actual circumstances but from the fears and anxieties he had built up in his mind. Living in the present. Buddha then taught Karna the importance of living here and now. By letting go of attachments to the past and future, and focusing solely on the present, the mind gradually becomes free. To help him, Buddha recommended a daily meditation practice. Thoughts are like a river. Observe them without attachment, and simply watch them flow by. Through meditation, Karna gradually felt his mind grow still, free from the dominance of fear and anxiety. As he continued his morning meditations, Karna gained a new perspective on life, allowing him to observe his thoughts with detachment. Growing alongside suffering. Buddha told Karna, life inevitably brings suffering. However, it is not something to avoid, rather, it is an opportunity for us to grow. Karna was deeply moved by these words, and with newfound courage, he faced and overcame his struggles. Back in his village, Karna found new meaning in caring for his mother and began steadily repaying his debt step by step. Gradually, he regained the trust of the villagers, and his business started to thrive again. No longer rushing, he followed Buddha's essential teaching to do the best with what you can in the present. The influence on others and community. Karna's transformation began to affect those around him as well. His newfound calm and warm smile attracted people to open up about their own struggles. Listening attentively, Karna shared Buddha's teaching of letting go, offering his own experiences as guidance. As he let go of his suffering, Karna discovered new purpose and joy in life. He became a guide for others, extending a helping hand to those who struggled, and illuminating a path for them as well. Walking the journey together. Time passed, and Karna became a respected figure in his village. One day, a young man approached him to share his troubles, and in this man's eyes, Karna saw a reflection of his own past. Smiling gently, he said, "What troubles you?" In that moment, Karna felt the presence of Buddha within himself, and he listened attentively. Life's suffering may be inevitable, but each of us has the choice to lay down that burden and use it as a stepping stone for growth. In conclusion, perhaps you, too, are carrying a heavy burden in life right now. But remember, you can always choose to let go of it. As Buddha's teachings show, suffering is an inseparable part of our journey, but within it lies the potential to find inner peace. The key lies in three things: living fully in the present, cultivating gratitude, and avoiding excessive attachment. This is the true path to freedom and happiness. Thank you for watching. Let's continue to learn from Buddha's wisdom together and walk a life filled with richness and peace. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to the channel.